bring the Dunbarton Board of Selectmen meeting to order for Thursday, July tenth, already the 2025, 7:01 p.m. We have a full Board of Selectmen here tonight, we have the town administrator here tonight, we have the town clerk here, we have the police chief. Donna Dunn is here from the, what committee are you from
The
tonight?
DHAC, the old TCP.
And Bob Martell is on video recording for the public, and Linda Nickerson will upload that to the town website. Gentlemen, I have some old business here.
I'd like to make a motion, Dave, to approve the minutes of June 26th as amended.
I'll second those, I read them and I was here. Dana, you were,
I was not present, I did read them, I have no comments, but I'll abstain as normal practice since
All
I
right.
wasn't here.
Lean's going to grab the copy of those, so, any other discussion, Mike?
Just that, there was, I wanna maybe revisit during the meeting, the thing about the property and the small home, the home business.
Okay, yeah, we can do that during
Just
our.
during our regular session.
Sure. We'll hit it at the end there. Okay, I'm gonna open it to public comment if anybody's got anything that's not on the agenda. Seeing none, I'm gonna go right to, town business here. Donna Dunn, you're on here for the bandstand update, we got a PowerPoint from you and a 13-page email, and we saved that to a file.
Okay, perfect, that was a rough draft, I have had a few tweaks, I'm learning how to use PowerPoint. Eli Modulewski, the high schooler from here in town, helped me put that together,
Oh,
cause I
good.
don't know this stuff. But I've added a little more historical stuff to put in there, but basically that's it. I did call, Shelley Westenberg at the school, as was suggested. And she said I told her it took us 24 hours this year to clean it, because it hadn't been done in 5 years. But it should not take that much time again. As a matter of fact, we should probably hit it again this fall, so that once we get ourselves back on the schedule for annual cleaning, it doesn't take that much time. But she said that sounded like a wonderful project, and as soon as you guys said okay, I could send her the PowerPoint, and she could present it to the proper people to get it on Giving Thursday. Is that what they're calling it when the kids do?
Yeah, it's
The sixth graders?
Cindy Bernard, when she was at our meeting as well, said that she would help facilitate that, the sixth graders, give a day to help the community out. Some come in the morning and some come in the afternoon. And, that give back day, I know that Fred Mullen used them to clean a bunch of the headstones out here. And, he was running short on some things for them to do, the kids wanted to help more and they didn't know quite what to do, so. This, I think, is gonna be an excellent opportunity for them to help.
Yeah.
Outstanding fit.
It's a great idea, so I'm just gonna jazzy up what you have, I'll send you the final rendition
Yeah,
with the little historical tweaks to it. I covered the cost of the kids, because the kids are working for me, I took the labor, but these are the materials. Those are some bands, and then that's the cleaner, the polish stuff, and some more zip ties with the buntings on the bandstand.
now are you gonna use the funds from that to pay
It's
for
up
that?
to you guys, however you wanna do that, if you wanna take them out
We
of
have
the-
funds in the town common checking account.
Yeah, I think we should do that for them and then reimburse Donna for those.
Okay, that's it.
And again, when the kids need the material, they'll let the school know that we'll provide that material.
I can probably get that at 8 and charge it directly to the town if we'd like.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, I just wasn't able to do it this.
Just
time.
highlight it for the bandstand, and that way
I
Lynn can
will.
take it from the right account.
Okay,
That account runs out, we'll take it from our maintenance account.
okay, perfect.
Is the rest of the board of selectmen okay with
Just
that?
a point of order, we have permission to take money out of the legislative body on that account. I just wanna make sure.
yeah, it was all donated funds, that's why it's in a separate account,
Gotcha.
and it's not taxpayer money, so.
I was the chair of that committee, and
Okay.
that was the intent.
Sometimes I don't wanna take money and then we have our hands up, because the
Not a
legislative
problem.
body's gotta chime, that's my only concern.
Not a
We're good,
problem.
thank you.
Well, thank you for coming in, thank you
I
for.
have two
putting it-
updates.
Oh, you do?
Yes, the disclaimer for the Hadley Tucker stuff,
Oh, okay.
because people are, most of the Hadley Tucker collection is here under lock and key, and it's viewable by the public if they make an appointment. I will come in and choreograph that, because the town clerk can't do it, she's not physically set up to watch the materials. The other stuff, a lot of it has been photocopied and put in the library, but during COVID, the Alice Hadley genealogy, which is a couple thousand pages long, we had it transcribed, Bill wrote prior to me, and digitized, so it's searchable. And people, Mary had the thumb drive so that people could come into the library and use it, but they could print a page or two, but they couldn't take the thumb drive and they couldn't load it onto something, because it's your material, the town of Dunbarton, Alice Hadley gave that to the town of Dunbarton prior to us buying the Hadley Tucker collection. So it's town property, and it's up to you guys to decide if it can be published or disseminated or whatever. So we've had people through the years that have said, can I make copies for my family's genealogy? And we said, yes. It isn't just genealogy, guys. If you read through that, there's some sensitive stuff in there. Like when there was a white sailor on a ship and he fell off, and it's a Dunbarton guy, and they threw a black guy in to get the sharks away so they could save the white guy. There's a lot of stuff in there that, you really have to read it. But it is online, because Mary put it online. We didn't know about it, found out about it afterwards, so the committee had a discussion about, okay, what are we gonna do about this now? It's out there, it's on the web. And we decided that, the committee, which Bud formed, which was probably responsible for getting all that genealogy here, it's always worked under the we share our knowledge. We don't lock it up, we don't hide it away, we make it available. So there's a woman writing an article for Needlepoint magazine that wants to use some of the information in that about a lace maker, one of the Burnham family members. And it's actual copy of a letter. Alice was transcribed a letter into her genealogy. And they want to use it, and the library came to me, I field the calls for all that information, and the woman wanted to use it, and I said, it's a monthly application, it's this, it's that. The committee had the talk again. The talk being, they're not gonna make big bucks off this, we all know this, it's a magazine, it's not that but what if someday you turned on the TV, we have this great picture of the postman I showed you that O.P. Wilson took, of the guy in his fur boots. He's coming in from the cold with the bow bag, and he took a snap picture of it. It would be great advertising material. And I said, what if you turn on the TV some night and this picture is there on TV, and the Postal Service or someone else is using that picture? Is Dunbarton going to want their cut? So you have to look at that extreme, and then you have to look at the extreme that he's using it in an article or a book is probably not going to generate a lot of income for anyone. But if all of a sudden it's on a national ad campaign,
Right.
that's your decision. I tentatively gave the woman permission to use it in this publication. I copied all of you and said I don't really have the authority, but I'm gonna say go ahead and do it, and if the board disapproves. So, we really ought to have an introduction to that genealogy. When you click on that link, it just brings you right into a table of comments. Contents rather. And you can click through and go by various names, and it's fully searchable, but there's no real intro to it. She just says Alice's notes on family genealogy. So we have to give it a title, because we have to be able to allow someone to accredit it. So we'll call it the Hadley Tucker /genealogy, because we're gonna have Hadley Tucker photos, we're gonna have Hadley Tucker this, when we eventually get all of that out there.
And this was information from a private family,
Yes,
and it was just donated to the town.
it was given to Alice Hadley over the course of the first half of the 20th century. Alice Hadley wrote letters all over the world, all over the country. People lent her their Bibles, they lent her family letters, they lent her journals, and she copied a lot of this information into her genealogy. It was, did the current Burnhams know anything about this letter? They didn't even know about it.
Legally, I don't know what we can and cannot do. Is it worthwhile to get a
Well,
lawyer?
Donna has written
I wrote if you look at the New Hampshire Historical Society and all the others, they have fees that you have to pay, you have to get copyright, you have to give all this accreditation.
she just wanted a brief description, so I asked her to put one together and then we could look at it.
Because if you guys put together
You
a
have more than one
disclaimer,
copy of this?
Gee, you can just read it.
yeah, if you put together a disclaimer and you guys sign it and date it, we could slide it into the PDF.
Yeah, merge it in there.
When you open
It just, it's a common, it just gives credit where it should go.
Exactly, and it's carte blanche. If someone makes a fortune off it, well, we can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
We may handle the photographs differently when we put those, if we put those online, but the
I
genealogy
asked
is
her to put
already
something
out
together
there.
for us at the meeting, so we can start
I'm just-
working on the process.
You're never gonna make $1 million, but you know what?
No, but if someone makes a couple $100,000, where's our cut?
Exactly.
Or should we get a cut? I don't know the answer to
It's
that.
pretty simple.
I don't
Yeah.
either.
I think identifying what it is in the source and having a title like you reference, if somebody was to reference it, is the most important thing.
Agreed.
Revenue from this, not important.
Unless it's making big bucks.
You know,
Let's give that to Lean. Wanna make one for our signatures for the following meeting?
Yep.
Okay,
Good, yeah, I'll just put it in the file.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
And then, very last thing, just so you know, if there are anything comes about with those little alterations to the history room over there, the rest of the money in the DHAC account, which is the, money Bud left, not their general operating funds, but the other account, that money was placed under the care of like 7 people. There's only 2 people that are left to make the decision of that money, and it's all in writing, but I submitted it, is Lynn Landry and myself. I picked up the phone and I called her and I said, Linda, if any of these alterations can include Bud Noyes' stuff and make them more accessible to the public, how do you feel about accessing some of that money? Because at some point, we're gonna have to zero that account out. Because if she grows or I grow, there's nobody else that can really,
Have access to it.
do you know how
Yeah.
much is left in that account?
2,200, I think,
Yeah, I just reconciled it today, about 22.
yeah.
So anyway, while we're on that subject, I met Donna over at the town hall Tuesday, I think at noon. You were there at 12:30. But anyway, we met with Bill Morse, he made the original shelves that are in the Bob Martell, Dunbarton Historical section in the library, that little cove, which used to be a stairway to go to the stage upstairs there, they took the stairs out and made a little room for all Dunbarton history to go in there, so people could go there and reference. So the binders she has there, that these historical binders, are larger than the existing shelves, the existing shelves are full.
The book size, not ledger depth. We need stuff that's ledger depth because we have big binders that are tall and wide, so we need something adjustable and deeper.
So there's a rolling metal cabinet there on the left that has some stuff in it, but it's not full yet, but it's not the right depth. And I said, well, let's roll that out and roll it somewhere else, and finish the U off with one more leg of shelving with the proper depth. And she wanted to make sure it was lockable because it's the historic copies, it's not the, you know, they can go right here and grab books that are all just typed copies,
Yeah.
but these are the originals.
And if we're ever gonna move the rest of the Hadley Tucker collection over there, there has to be
Lockable.
security.
So, Bill Morse is giving us a price on a shelf that's like, 49 inches wide, the same height as the other ones, with the same moldings and trims in the crown, but it has lockable doors on it for that left side. When we get that bid in from him, what she's saying is we'll probably, as a select board, either approve it or disapprove it, but use some funds from that and some from our maintenance fund. The other shelves were built in there, were paid by the library trustees, but it's not in their budget. So, I'm not sure when Bill's gonna get back to us with the pricing, but as that comes in, just so you guys are aware of what
Okay.
we've worked on.
Lockable glass doors, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Plexi, yeah, so you can see what's in
You
there and
actually
say,
can see
okay, I
it,
need
okay.
this or I'm not interested, yes.
Yeah.
So, and then Mary will control the key or you can have a key. They can meet people there, work on the originals if they want. Right now, if people wanna see the originals, they have to call Donna or Linda Landry. They open up this cabinet here that's locked and go through them with them.
And it's gonna increase accessibility.
That's exactly what the committee and Bud Noyes wanted. Bud wanted his stuff at the library where people could use it.
But I think the town clerk has, you can also let them see it, right?
Anything that's at the library, they can see, I've made copies, but the originals are all originals here, and the other things that aren't over there, the original photographs, the boxes with stuff in them, I mean, it should be accessible.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so that's where we're at with that, so now everybody's on the same page. When we get a bid in from Bill Morse, he's gonna bring a specialist that works with him that did the original shelving actually.
That could help, some of the budget could help offset the cost of that, and there'd be no issue.
Be the perfect thing.
And the thing is, if it was zeroed out, we could, if it was over that, I think we would augment that with appropriate funding.
So he did the original shelves, so Donna called him up, I met him there with her, and we got a design put together.
And two of the library trustees were there also, and said that basically it's up to the town to do what they want, it's their building, they don't see, other than Mary being involved with the key, they don't see any issues.
I think Mary's the appropriate person too.
Anything else, Donna?
That's it.
And I really don't think the town clerk should be doing it, because she's up to here with her, doing her regular work.
That's the whole point.
And to say anyone in this whole office is really,
Well, the DHAC is trying very hard to get things digitized as much as possible and get things accessible, so that they're not, somebody else doesn't have to intervene.
good. Thank you for the update.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Donna. Thanks for the work on the bandstand.
It's clean, but I will have to do it again this fall.
Hopefully you have some more help.
I'm gonna steal some of those tips for cleaning my deck.
You like those, huh?
That 13-page document showed me
Well,
exactly how
that
to
is
do it.
exactly how to do it. We've only done it like 17 times, I guess.
Okay, next thing on the agenda, Jennifer Cormier, Town Clerk, discussion on department staff.
Yes, I
Come on up,
also
Jennifer.
have an appointment paper, I don't know if you wanna do that first. or
Sure.
after. This is from the planning board.
You wanna make a motion?
Sure.
Here we go.
Let's see, I'll make a motion that Brian Nordell of Dunbarton, fills a vacancy on the Dunbarton Planning Board, with a term ending March 2026.
Alternate or full member?
Full member.
Full member, nice.
Okay, yeah,
Motion's been made, I'll second it.
okay,
All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Sign her up. Glad to see Brian on there, he's, been on there for a long time in the past, and when I was at the meeting, he did a great job.
Does he have background in, construction development?
He worked for Audley doing roads all his life,
Oh, okay.
so,
He knows roads.
He knows roads.
He knows roads.
yeah,
2026.
Right, doesn't he have one of the best dirt roads in town, created?
it's not dirt anymore.
Purgatory?
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice
Okay,
and wide,
Jennifer,
too.
sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
no
were making
problem
jokes
at all.
about roads when we go on to.
The road agency, we've gotta clean it up.
yeah,
Okay, Donna, so, I guess I
Sure.
heard the week before last that we have a position open. Currently,
You wouldn't have heard till this week, because I didn't post until this weekend. And I do apologize, cause I did not know I was out of order, I would never have done anything to go, overstep, or I do apologize about the sequence
what's the
of things.
position, first of all, so the
So
public knows?
what's going on is I have between, not having a regular deputy from January to March, and then she hasn't quite been using as many hours due to certain circumstances. So I have a lot of extra money for staff hours that's not gonna get used by my current deputy. So I was hoping to hire an assistant clerk who, not because I have hours left, because I have so much work between falling behind, when I was without staff and just wanting to get the office, now that I'm town clerk, more situated, a lot of things digitized, as Donna said, some things we only have hard copies of, we don't have anything else, and it's not, secure, fireproof at all, and there's just lots of things.
Can I ask, just cause I don't know, could you get a second deputy?
No, by state law, there is one deputy, and then after that, you can have a number of assistants.
Oh, okay,
Yep, but the deputy is the person who's deputized to
okay,
do essentially anything that the town clerk can do.
okay, so that's why they do assistants.
Right, so I was estimating I'd have about 15 hours a week. And the reason I didn't do it till this weekend is it was on my plan to post sometime, but I hadn't written anything, I hadn't calculated how many hours. And when I finally did that Saturday morning, I said, oh my goodness, that's a lot of hours, I better get this posted.
I had somebody call me today to ask if they could use my name for a reference, so that's, I know it's, I said somewhere, so I said, yep, use my name.
Right. So that's what that was about.
Cause I knew we had given you permission earlier to have a deputy help, or not a deputy, but the assistant help you during those times when you didn't have the deputy.
Right, yes, and that assistant is only available one day a week, but more like once every few months, is it really if I really need her.
Do the assistants have to live in town?
No, they do not.
Okay,
but they
it would
cannot
be-
do a couple of the
Yeah,
tasks,
you
right?
can't do a few of that, I have what I posted if you want to see. I do apologize again, yeah.
I did see
there's
the,
two
I
things-
actually saw it on the police
There's two things
Facebook
that they
page,
can't do, and I did.
and I sent a
No.
message off.
Yeah, I thought it was on the police force page like a week ago, wasn't it?
It was earlier this
No.
week.
Just Monday or.
It was
Oh,
posted,
Monday.
I think the same day you
Monday.
inquired about it was
It was
Oh,
posted
okay.
Monday.
It seemed like last week, but it must have been Monday,
A long week,
cause it was a holiday.
And so, would you anticipate, would the assistant town clerk be able to work without either you or the deputy here?
If that person was fully trained, I mean, right now, I'm looking at this year's budget, I don't know what's gonna happen, what's all gonna be decided, you know, if we did add a few hours over what we budgeted this year, we might be able to have an assistant stay on, which could be really helpful as a town resident, helping with elections. It's a 3-election year next year. So if somebody could start getting up to speed on DMV, then they'd be able to do a lot of what comes through our office.
Yeah, right.
But it is a process.
Do you anticipate this person being able to help you at all with the hours that, your office is open, that the residents have been chirping about?
Well, they would have to get fully trained first.
Okay, yeah,
And even
understood.
my deputy is not currently really comfortable working by herself, you know, for extended periods, which will
So
bring
the
it
short-term
to
impact is not,
is not
would
gonna
not,
add
would not,
hours.
would
Yeah.
not happen.
And I'm still working
Okay,
way too many hours right now to think if I shift, I mean, when I was here a month ago, I didn't get home till after midnight,
I know you were
Because of
doing
all the
relapse
work.
still one night.
you know, and that's with closing at 4. You know, there's just certain
Yeah.
times, there's just so much that I've gotta get done. And it's not only at the end of the week, sometimes it's in the middle of the week.
will the assistant help you in getting out of here earlier in terms of getting through
See,
some of the
we'll
tasks?
have to see what, that person's hours they can work and
Yeah, their
different
capabilities.
things. Yeah, and you know, whether I have them on special projects or learning everything, I mean,
Okay.
there's arguments to both.
The only thing I'd recommend is, when you do job interviews, maybe have someone like the town administrator sit in on the job interview as a sounding board for you, so there's more than one person who can ask questions. In the past, past town clerks have had a selectman sit in also, sometimes in just some job interviews, as you recall.
Right, yeah, I think
The thing is
Linda had done an initial round prior to when I had applied. She had done an initial round of interviews, and then she had it down to a certain number of candidates, and then it invited the selectmen for the final.
Which I think
as
is a
she-
great way of doing it. So whatever you recommend, I think we could go on. But I think it's
Do
good
we
to
have a
help you.
selected pay that we're, gonna offer this person?
It would be I think the way things stand, it's the same rate as the deputy, it's just, I don't know, that's what.
I was
we-
wondering, how did we pay the last one that we just had?
The desk clerk.
Oh, so the desk clerk, we paid her at the highest step for the deputy,
Okay.
because she was coming in already trained and coming in from out of town especially to help.
So
As a
and this
favor.
person here will be the
We
same
have
as the
step-
deputy, you think?
Step 1, I would think, coming in, unless we get somebody from out of town who's already DMV, but that would be that's a different need. And actually, speaking of that, so I have certification training the first week of August, which is coming up very quickly. And like I said, I'm not sure my deputy is really comfortable covering the office. I think even if, as she does, I would have to come back, do the full day of training every day, and then come here to close up. So she would really be benefited by having somebody very comfortable with DMV, at least for some of those
If you get
days,
that person.
if I can even find somebody. So I would also like to post to the town clerk's list that if somebody might be available even for a couple days that week.
So this is 15 hours a week. Are you planning on putting this in your budget next year?
I don't have any specific plans right now.
So we're gonna hire somebody and possibly let them go?
Possibly reduce the hours from the 15, or it all depends. I mean, so many things could change. My deputy could decide that she doesn't wanna stay on, and then suddenly, you know, we just don't know.
But then you'd have to replace the deputy, so somebody would all your funds.
Right, somebody would have to be a resident, so I
I'm
will.
just trying to think outside the box,
Yeah,
all our situations here. 'Cause
right, so
I don't
there-
really have a problem with this short term, but if it becomes longer term, I wanna offer more hours to the public, the way we had them before. And, but we get a lot of feedback about that, and, I realize you have to train people, you have to get them up to snuff before you can open them up. But I do think that even though she can't do all the functions, it is important to stay open and do what she can do. Even if
right.
she has to turn some people down and say, okay, you're here for a marriage license, I cannot do that, you'll have to wait till next week, or whatever.
Yeah, so I did check with DMV several months ago, asking whether I was allowed to have somebody who's like officially per DMV has permission to do transactions, but isn't really comfortable, doesn't know how to do them all. Can I post that, alright, my office is open, but we're just doing renewals and basic transfers, or, have a list of things
Yeah.
we're doing.
And
And
marriage
they-
license by appointment, or
And they
death certificate by
said
appointment.
that they were looking into it. So if we're open, she is required to do everything DMV, whether she knows how to do it or not.
Because she can
That's-
call for assistance,
That's the theory, which is also why daytime.
right?
We've had so many days where it's like scrambling to get, because our new support is only available till 5, so assuming that we're even closing up a little after 4, and then we realize, oh, there's a problem here, then we gotta quick call and get it fixed, which is really important. You're trying to deposit the money that night, and if, you just want all your ducks in a row on your reports,
Mhm.
and why is something, not.
So a lot of towns are open late nights, does DMV have some assistant for you guys at night?
Certain nights they do, but it's not just DMV, it's our clerk work support, and then of course, vital records support, and Secretary of State, and da-da-da. Yeah,
So there is some.
so there's a lot of different pieces.
Okay, so we see what Jennifer's asking for. I'd like to put it in front of the board here and see what you guys' thoughts are.
Would you, would you put a range, or would you put that low step one level pay if somebody was to ask?
I was assuming step 1 as
Okay.
opposed to a range. I mean, if
Sounds like if
somebody's
this adds
not
out there,
already.
you gotta tell them on site when they come in,
That's what I would think, yeah.
Yeah.
because it's
I
not
think
here.
right
Right,
now it's
right.
$21.27 an hour.
So what it is.
It's 21 and low change, and, if somebody's not coming in already trained, there's.
If you get someone that's done it for 20 years, or you can go up that ladder.
Right, yes, and so yes, if I find a clerk in another town that can come in for a couple days when I'm away to help my deputy, then I might indeed desire to
That was a
offer
qualified
more.
desk clerk like you had before.
And for your 2025 budget, you can afford 15 hours at that step one pay.
Correct, that's what I was thinking. Approximately.
Just wanna make sure when we interview the people that they do know that the hours may become adjusted.
Absolutely, yeah, I
And
didn't
I think that-
necessarily wanna put it in the posting, but
Right.
yes, absolutely.
And I do wanna state that if we go through with this tonight, we should revisit it with the board later on in the year and see how it's working for you and for us and as a town. Like, say you get somebody with all that knowledge, maybe we give them more hours more quickly, depending on who she finds, But,
Can
I
I
think
just
we
point
keep it
out
open.
that the select board still have to hire, so
Absolutely.
you have to go before them
Oh, absolutely.
make that recommendation.
That
once you
I
guys,
knew,
once you
yeah.
guys have the,
Right, no, I knew that it's up to you whether we hire.
thoughts?
Let's see what we can, I'd like to see a candidate. That's the challenge I think it's gonna be.
Yeah, I think if we get a candidate, we'll know more what our decision actually will be, because, we'll know
In
if
terms
Chris
of how much
smells
they can
it.
help,
But, someone comes in, do you use a computer? What's a computer?
yeah, no, whether they're a town resident or not, that's a fact, that is a
It could be a
factor
factoid,
in
yeah.
terms of what they're table.
And in the future too.
Yes.
Yeah, but the majority of the things they can do, they
The
can't.
majority they can, yeah,
They can't do the marriages and the voting and the divorces and,
the vital records and, yeah,
yeah, but the stuff that people are coming in for, they wanna
mostly,
get it done,
yeah.
mostly.
No, I support it.
Okay, consensus of the board is to
Uh,
continue with it.
I think being clear that this is not a permanent position at this point,
Absolutely.
has to be-
Yeah, I never
has to be known,
intended it.
Although she can allude to it, could develop into one,
and a lot of it has to do with
performance.
how the position performs.
Right, and budgeting and tax and all that.
Also
stuff.
known as how
Lots
the
of
person
factors.
performs.
Yes.
And I don't mean to be a squeaky wheel, but I wanna emphasize the hours are being real helpful to people complaining
Yeah.
about it.
Right, and people do find if they contact me, then I help them find a way to work around that, you know, it's not, it's a lot of times people are thinking, oh, I have to come in person. No, there's other ways, or we can arrange for you to come in a little outside those hours, we can designate somebody. If they just reach out, we can tell them what their options are.
Yeah.
And we try to be very flexible about that.
Okay, I'll put this in here. Copy, you have another copy, obviously.
Yeah, I might give you a white copy.
I
of
have
the
a white
email.
copy in that
Oh,
packet
okay.
you have there.
So then I will take that back for.
Anything else for us, Jennifer?
Okay, so and it's also okay that I see whether I can find a desk clerk
Yeah.
for that.
Mhm.
We shall see.
Okay.
Alright,
That's
thank
the
you
challenge
very
in front of
much.
you.
Well, I know you're gonna have
Yeah.
at least one applicant, I think.
What?
Whoever
That-
wanted
Oh,
reference.
okay,
Yeah.
right, I was talking about the desk clerk for
Oh, the
August.
desk clerk, yeah.
Yeah,
August, yeah.
that might
Oh.
be challenging to find somebody. Alright.
You know, what you may ask is the former desk clerk, she may be in a network of knowing someone.
Yeah, that's where she wants to reach out.
Okay, good.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Town
gonna
clerk.
reach out to the
Network.
whole.
Exactly, okay.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Alright, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Next on the agenda is Police Chief Chris Rumble update on the Emergency Operations Plan, EOP.
Alright. I'll try to be brief, I know it's a long agenda tonight. Chief Skoglund and I, have embraced our new, EMD roles. He's gonna be, if it's okay with the board, he's gonna be the director and I'll be the deputy director. We can still complement each other when one's not available, vice versa, but we basically met with Homeland Security and Emergency Management at the state level. And the town of Dunbarton's Emergency Operations Plan, which is basically a roadmap for if this type of emergency happens, this is what you do, these are our resources. It's a 100+ page document, but the last time it was updated was 2008. So we met with Homeland Security and there are grants available. They're called Emergency Management Preparedness Grants. And in order to be eligible for those grants, we have to have an updated EOP, understandably. It's kind of similar to the whole hazard mitigation plan.
Oh, so the grant is not to update the plan.
It is.
Oh,
So there's a grant specifically to hire a consulting firm, a consulting firm is the one that would do it, to update our emergency operations plan. So it's a 50-50 match grant, so we got a proposal from Hubbard Consulting. She's done a lot of emergency operations plans all over the state, basically,
Towns our size?
I believe so. She has her resume.
Okay.
But we had a meeting with her the other day, and she's been doing this a long time. But we would be able to fulfill the town's match simply by having essentially meetings, because we can factor in like our hourly pay, benefits, things like that. So the way towns meet the match is by meeting to update the EOP, so there's really no out-of-pocket money
So it's
from
your
the town.
salary being offset.
My set, that's right, so with that, I found an interesting document from 2007. There was a Town of Dunbarton Emergency Management Committee, you probably remember. So this committee had the fire chief and the emergency management director, another representative from the fire department, a selectmen, the police chief, road agent, health officer, town administrator, and we had a few other, recommended people to be included, by the consultant. But essentially, I wanted to gauge, number one, if the board is okay with Brandon and I pushing forward with the grant specific to updating the EOP, because we can't apply for any other grants unless and until the EOP's updated. And,
I would think that makes good sense, I just wanna make sure it's done size for a town our size.
of course,
That's,
You know,
that's what I was alluding
I
to.
don't want it to be like a New York.
No,
One, you know,
I can
our
send you
school
the,
hasn't moved.
right, exactly. And looking at the 08 plan, it's well done, but there's been a lot of things that have changed, like resources, contact telephone numbers, things like that. So we have a good baseline, but we're just not eligible for any grants because it's so old. So that would be the first thing, we would definitely meet the match just from the meetings.
Did you get the email from Unitil in reference to their emergency management meeting?
I think I did,
Okay,
yeah,
I just figured I'd throw that out.
Sure.
I didn't know if it just came to the select board or not.
I think I did get that,
I
yeah.
actually signed up
Okay,
for it,
Oh, good.
perfect,
yeah.
yes, you're the man.
I wanted to see what that was all about,
Yeah.
in terms of what an electricity emergency is and how it impacts the towns,
Which is pretty
so,
serious when you see some of these blackouts that they've had over the last couple of years.
yeah,
too.
sure.
Mhm.
It's probably worse than a lot of floods and everything else, you know?
Probably. So if the board's okay with Chief Skoglund and I pushing forward with that grant,
What's the approximate cost of her, and therefore, like,
ours.
what is the impact to your hours, are you gonna be,
So it's, her cost right now is 4,000,
okay,
and that's everything from start to finish.
okay.
So our match would be 4,000 in time.
Yeah, and you have all the meetings, we just talked about putting you guys both on this, plus tonight.
Yeah, yeah,
But when you factor in, so there's a volunteer rate, so like if we have people from town that volunteer to be on this committee, or people who don't otherwise have pay rates, they're $34.17 an hour. So we're gonna have, she recommends 4 meetings of various lengths, could be 2 hours, 3 hours. But my understanding is it doesn't just factor in, like, for me, what my hourly rate would be, but also my retirement, fringe benefits, all of that
Just
stuff
potential
oh,
out.
wow, so
count
it's the
towards
it's
the hourly
burden,
rate. So
the burden rate.
we'll
What's
hit
the
that,
selectmen rate's gonna be way down.
Yeah, you don't want me at those meetings.
We better go to the volunteer.
Oh, yeah.
we'll hit that,
Okay.
we'll hit that, I think, without a problem.
Yeah,
But the other question is, you know, we would love to have a member of the select board on this committee. It would be about 4 meetings over the span of approximately 2 to 3 months. And it would be local on site, probably at the fire department. And we would just be bringing all the stakeholders to the table, working with the consultant to upgrade the plan.
I think I was on it before with Jeff, but I think if you're gonna go to the other meeting, it would make sense.
yeah, I don't have any problem being on that.
Okay,
It kinda makes sense too, cause I'm with you on the
Yep.
Central New Hampshire, planning commission
Mhm.
there. And I signed up for this Unitil electricity emergency
there you
meeting,
go.
so.
I saw it, I knew that was for you.
The other entities she recommended is a representative from the school, Capital Area Public Health Network, welfare director, and then someone in finance here for the town. So it's a pretty sizable group, you're talking 10, 12 people.
Yep.
So we'll hit that match pretty easily.
4 meetings.
I'm gonna drag Lean and Jeff into it, and, I think we'll be able to get this done relatively quick. And once that happens, it opens up the door to a lot of money, for funding.
So she's basically gonna do almost like interviews to gather information, update the SOP,
That's right,
proceed, stand operating procedure, and then apply for grants.
that's right.
Okay.
And what are the other grants that you're, like, downstream that you're looking at?
So it's still
As
called
an
that.
example, just give me an example.
Yeah, so it's still called the EMPG, the Emergency Management Preparedness Grant, but some of the things that she had used as examples is, our Emergency Operations Center. We could upgrade that with, you know, tables, chairs, provisions, you know, monitors, telephones, things like that. But there's also infrastructure like radio repeaters and things like that that I really have my eye on. Maybe putting it up on the new land that the town has, putting a tower up there, if that's something that we could do through the grant, because it's emergency communications, it benefits police, fire, and highway during an emergency, because we do have a town radio frequency. So, you know, that's something else that we could take a look at. But there's quite a bit of stuff.
The other thing I always thought about is, you know, we have the school, heaven forbid something went out down there. We also have this building here, and when that original program was set up to use a second floor, one of the first things on their original budget was this huge generator like we have for the school to come on instantly.
Yep.
And, that building's not provided, so it could never be used really for that emergency management. So we could also maybe make that a secondary building.
Yep.
And keep the town, you know, right up here in the center, and maybe not even utilize the school on some of these plans.
And that was another example, thanks for reminding me, is
Yeah.
large generator systems. I think the town of Bow actually got one through this grant when they were building their new public safety building,
You know,
cause their EOC is within that building.
depending on where it was, it could probably run this building and that building, and these guys wouldn't be able to go home when the power goes off. But yeah, so I was thinking outside the box, and when we were doing that addition on there, that eventually we'd try and hook up to one of these grants for that power
Yep.
unit.
So former Chief Wigan updated the signature page on the current plan. Do
Okay.
you want to bypass that, or do we wanna sign it, update it, and then?
See, if we sign it, then it means we have a plan, I'd say just take it to the contractor first and get it started.
Well, you can show her our current plan, and then, you know, obviously update.
Yeah, Homeland Security has our 08 plan, the consultant has our 08 plan.
But all the names that's in that orange binder are
Mhm.
not current, so.
Yeah, so why do we wanna sign a document, sign off on a document that's incorrect? I don't wanna do that yet.
It's not that it's incorrect, it's just outdated.
I think we should have a plan in place anyway, even if it's
Yeah,
outdated.
because if you have an emergency next week, all those people on that list have to be notified. And that's the whole point of the understanding of you getting that
Oh, is
change.
that's actually a notification list, not just an
Yeah, isn't
approval
it?
list?
I thought it was just acknowledging that there's a plan.
Yeah, but for someone at school, for example, in secretary, if she had an emergency, she could go to that emergency plan
You and I
and get a
signed this
list of
in
people on there.
2022.
Yes, and
Yeah.
the thing that's really interesting too is the school has their own EOP.
Oh,
I don't know. But the thing is, if it's
So I think
incorrect,
it's good to
that's,
bring someone in
we're
from
going
the
to the
school,
goal
because
of
then
changing.
Yeah,
They have
yeah.
some buy-in.
It's not updated.
Is that something you'd be able to do? Well, figure out a time that works best for everybody.
Well, we'll
No,
sign it if you guys use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we
Make it
should
work.
sign it just to
You probably
Have this
keep
in
that
place
current
up
one,
to seven.
you know,
Yeah.
active.
And then
Essentially, all
create
it's
a new
doing
one.
is declaring it's still active until
Right.
there's a replacement.
Although outdated,
Yeah.
when we know it's gonna be updated.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And we can send out a memo with those signature pages that we will be in the
Right,
works.
in the process of updating
Updating the
with
entire
Homeland
document,
Security.
Okay,
Don't wanna spend too much money making copies.
That's just that original.
We're in good shape with the hazard mitigation plan, that's good until 2028, cause we just did that in 2023. There's a lot of similarities between the EOP and the hazmat, but the EOP just. it's
you're
gotten,
coming back later, right, chief?
I am, yes.
Can we
Okay.
touch on a grant that's actually in the mailbox? So Brandon provided me with a, where is it?
C,
See, the fire and police application for grant, what is that grant that Brandon asked me to have the board sign?
May I see it?
It
Oh,
was-
you know what? I'm sorry, if I can approach, that's for the
See.
grant I just talked about.
It was, okay,
Yes.
that's what I thought it might
Yep.
be.
Yep.
It should be.
Oh, the grant for the consultant?
Oh,
Yes.
it's in
Yeah,
there.
to get that process started.
The mailbox, see.
we can sign off on that now.
So this needs to be signed, so then we can move forward with
Correct.
hiring this individual and then setting up the,
Yep.
grant match.
And Homeland Security does all the grant paperwork, and the consultant does all the grant paperwork and the
Okay.
compliance paperwork, so it's a really,
Slick
it's
operation.
squared away.
Yeah.
They've been doing this for a lot of towns, so,
Okay.
thank you.
Says good evening, Chief Rumwood, I have met with HSEM and private contractor to look into updating our town EOP. If approved by the board, we intend to apply for the HSEM Emergency Preparedness Grant to cover the costs associated with utilizing the contractor and the town employees' associated costs. In preparation for the grant, can you please complete the two attached documents? And provide us with a copy of the most recent financial audit for the town. Lastly, and yet, our SAM government UEI number saved, could you please provide this as well?
That's more on from my department, but I figured, get them to sign that, and then I'll get the other
That'd be
information.
great, thank you.
Looks like just my signature.
You or myself, I know in the past I was designated, but,
You wanna
you're
sign
here,
it again?
right there, yep, two different forms there.
Is that something I can steal it from?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I'll just sign.
I'm gonna go with Dana to the Unitil stuff, cause they'll probably have breakfast or something.
Yeah. I'll
Either-
bring-
I'm doing
I'll bring
the-
some Dunkin'
I'm
Donuts.
doing the virtual one.
Oh, breakfast or lunch,
So,
alright, that's it, you can do it in your PJs.
Yeah. I'd encourage.
I used to go to one with John Wigan every spring, Unitil would put on
Oh, yeah.
basically, they tell you about all the outages and how the
Yeah.
preparedness was and everything, and they'd give you a nice breakfast at the 20 center. It was a pretty good gig for a while, we were regulars for a while, it kind of faded away.
The only on-site option they had was to go to one of their emergency operations center. They did not mention anything about food.
Well, nice breakfast, very nice.
This is,
Okay, alright, we're all set. Jeff Crosby, you're up next.
My turn in the barrel?
Yeah, update on the roads?
Yeah, they're still there.
Plowing's been great the last couple weeks.
We've been ahead of it, no issues,
No handout.
no, yeah, no hand. You've been keeping busy, Pete busy too. Yeah, we've been working, we've been keeping our nose to the grindstone. The fuel tank issue with cement pad at the highway garage.
Is that in here tonight?
I have printed it off, but you were gonna update them first.
I told you, so I thought maybe you might give them a piece of paper with the estimate on it.
Okay.
That's
you
why I
said-
sent you, I sent you the text.
I have it on my desk, but,
Yeah.
okay, sorry,
Well-
I'll bring it back.
As you know, about 3 years ago, we have our fuel tanks down at the highway garage, and they have to be state monitored and everything. We hire a vendor, Gold Eagle Corporation, that does all the testing, keeps everything up to snuff, does any repairs or anything we've had to do in the past. So approximately 3 years ago, we had to have the test by the state to see if we were compliant. And there was a couple issues, one of them was a concrete pad, where we park the vehicles and fill up, much like a regular gas station, you see. We have asphalt there now, but they wanted this concrete pad, and whatever, and an emergency shut off. Well, we never really got it done, not that, it was not a big problem. And we had the vendor give us a price on doing it, and to get the right grades and everything, he was gonna have to remove the pumps, lift them up, and it was like $40,000, a lot of money. So, I worked with him and we revisited it and said, hey, we can grade the area around there to get the water to run away better, and that won't be a problem. So he just gave us a month ago, maybe at the most, an updated price. And that's what it is right there.
You mentioned something about maybe splitting it, I didn't get anything split. Like two.
No, I talked to him today and he said he hadn't done it, and I said,
Okay.
well, if we want it, we'll get it, but this is the cost of the two projects. Putting the concrete pad in and installing the electric shut off. Basically what that is, it's a knob on the outside of the town garage, so if there is an issue with the pumps, somebody can run over there, hit that button and it cuts the power. That's all it is, it's a safety. Cause right now, all the power sources, fuse boxes, switches are inside the highway garage, which isn't, it's only, during the working hours is open, typically the rest of the time it's locked, and the fuel is 24/7 for fire, police, whoever needs it, highway department. Anyway,
we just had another review by the state this week. And this gentleman that came out thought we would be grandfathered because of the older system. And he wrote a report, and the only issue that he found was we had a hose that was cracked, which we're gonna take care of fixing, which is no big deal. So I called the guy up from Gold Eagle and I said, hey, what gives here? This guy gives the report, can we get in without doing it? Cause if we don't have to do it, we don't wanna do it. So got a hold of the state, I guess, the powers to be who are higher up the food chain said, nope, we're not exempt, we gotta do it.
Do you know what the exemption criteria was that was misinterpreted?
Age, and we would have to do it if we upgraded the tanks, and we're not upgrading the tanks, everything's staying the same. That's what we were told. I told them to give us something in writing, we were saying that, but we haven't had, this all came to fruition today.
And Jana, just so you know, we've kinda kept this in the back of our mind.
Yeah.
Because it was a kind of an emergency a couple years back,
Yeah,
and then it became less of an emergency as it went on.
Yeah.
And Jeff notified us, so we kind of, as we've been keeping the building maintenance money,
Yeah.
we haven't reduced that terribly, only because we knew this was eventually coming up.
That's one of the reasons we plus it up one year.
And I thought, after this latest visit, I thought we could escape it, but I guess there's two different opinions at the state.
Do you think it's worth, I mean, I just heard you say, if we didn't have to do it, we wouldn't do it.
Yeah, why would you do it if you didn't have to do it? We're putting
I mean-
fuel in vehicles on an asphalt surface.
Yeah.
It's very limited use, it's not like a gas station where the general public's in there.
It's in there all the time, yeah.
It's all municipal employees
Yeah.
and a small operation.
Well,
I don't know who you would talk to up there to try to get any, relief on it or anything, but it's in the guidelines that they gotta be done.
But there must be something in the guidelines that indicate this exemption, otherwise this person wouldn't have.
He was basically,
Interpreted
it
that
was
way.
put in so many years ago, and we weren't, if you don't upgrade anything, like put new tanks in, then you don't have, his
Yeah,
opinion
yeah.
was, you wouldn't have to comply to that new thing. But I guess he was overruled. I didn't talk to him, I asked Glenn to find out for me. I don't know if there's, what that process would be, I can't
Sure.
answer that question.
You know,
I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
it almost
I-
smells like we want the business, so let's make a call to make sure they do it. It just sounds terrible.
I don't, that's what I don't know, that's
Do
why.
you wanna take the time to call Dana and chase it through the state?
yeah,
It'd be the DOT you'd have to contact.
no,
Environmental
DES,
services.
yeah,
We've got a report, I don't know if you gave him that report.
no, not yet.
It'll have the gentleman's name that came out and did the inspection.
The one that told us we needed originally.
No, hose, just.
The one that came out and did the most recent inspection, which was a different individual,
not with DES?
with
He
DES.
is with DES.
Yeah, he was on site, I was there, gentleman from DES was there, and Glenn from Gold Eagle was there, and they have to take these collars off, test them,
Yeah.
test all the alarms to make sure they work correctly.
Yeah.
And
Would it
that all
hurt
passed.
if we waited 2 weeks on this? and give us
Oh,
a-
it won't hurt at all,
Okay.
but
I
I
mean,
just,
I wouldn't wanna do this alone, being kind of a, you know, a novice in terms of even what
Yeah.
all the regulations are. I'd
Yeah.
wanna work with you on,
yeah, there's a certain criteria on the size of the pad. You have hoses and you have to be a certain distance,
yeah,
the hose, so you can't get off the pad when you're fueling.
That's why it looks like he's shortening the hoses.
Yes, that was the
Okay.
other side of it,
okay,
to get a pad as small as possible.
yep, yep.
Pad's
But the,
smaller, but you gotta
did we actually
drive
get the
closer.
inspection report from the guy indicating
Yes, we
cracked
did.
hose?
I do
Yeah,
have it,
we do.
yeah. He just
But he
said
didn't
that
have this
Tuesday
on
this
it.
week.
But he didn't have this
He
on.
didn't have this requirement, which the guy previous did.
And we talked about it when he was here, and that was his statement, he said, well, I think it's grandfather. So he left, and then we got the report, I got the report from Lean, she wrote it to me, I read it, it didn't say anything about anything else, so I called the gentleman, Glenn, who handles it, and I said,
This guy,
Yeah.
Glenn
guy
from
that
Gold
did the
Eagle.
bid.
Yeah,
Gold
Yeah.
Eagle, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
I-
have to, do you have to be licensed to do
but
this
they're
kind of
just-
work?
yes,
They're not DES, they're a
No.
contractor,
yes,
Right.
he's a contractor,
yeah,
yeah,
I think it's worth giving a call to the guy that said, I think your grandfather,
yeah,
yeah.
and just hold off the 2 weeks.
It's not, it's not gonna hurt anything, but I just.
Other than that, it looks reasonable compared to the pads we just.
Well, yeah, he's gonna do everything, we're not gonna be
Emergency.
involved with cutting the asphalt or prepping it, he's gonna do everything.
sure.
Charge of the concrete and all that, and also that electrical switch. I had asked him to
Dan, if
break
you
it
get too
down.
much, I can make a call too. Want me to do this one? You got enough on your plate with
Yeah,
this
I mean,
one?
if you
I'll
would,
do it.
sure.
I'll send you the report
Yeah,
and
I'll make
leave-
the phone call.
That's the guy I would call, the latest one on the
Yeah,
report,
that's
he's the one. And I just looked at him, of course, like you said, well, if we don't have to do it, we're not gonna do it, we're not, you know.
You got enough on your, putting on all that other stuff, so I'll do this one.
Okay.
I know what you're saying, I
It's just
understand
a-
totally, that went through my mind.
Mhm.
I'm like, well, whatever.
Yeah.
It sounds like a guy above him at DES,
Yeah.
which commonly happens.
Yeah,
At my camp, I got told I didn't need to do anything, or put a permit on file, and somebody called and complained, cause there was no permit on file, they came out and did an inspection, I said, well, why didn't you tell me somebody could call and complain? I would've done a, after the fact permit, but,
yeah,
it's a
I
similar
mean,
situation, it goes up to yes, and I'm like, I sat in your office with your people, and they're like, yeah, that doesn't matter, and I'm like, okay, wish the rest of the world could work that way.
yeah, but again, that's, yes, they operate on a whole different
Yeah, they do.
type of criteria than the average.
Well, the fact that, though, you did say there is something in there that says if
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
replace the tank,
His opinion,
yeah,
was we didn't need to.
right?
But the story I got, his boss said, no, you gotta do it. So I don't know who his
Let's at
boss
least make
is.
the phone call and we'll go from there.
Sure.
And I mean,
Who works for who?
yeah, I don't,
It's worth a phone call, if
It
it's
is,
just.
I mean, it's not chump change, right? It's-
oh, no,
so,
$26,000.
Yeah. yeah,
It
I
was,
mean,
what, 38?
It was
first
40
time?
before,
40, yeah.
we changed
We have a
it.
thing about
Yeah.
$500.
Oh,
Um,
Yeah, no, yeah, it's
it's significant enough to,
Make a call.
so this would be like a sole source, it wouldn't fall under a bid, having put it out to bid?
Well, the fact that he's doing the emergency shut off switch and all that, and he's our current supplier.
He's the current inspector, that's what, in
No.
training.
You know,
Glenn is our current.
Glenn is our go-to guy for all the servicing,
Service.
inspections,
Yeah.
training for
Yeah.
Pete and I, cause we have to be trained to operate this. We have a check sheet we have to fill out every month that we go around and we look at the different aspects of the pump and check it off
Okay.
and submit it. It's pretty thorough.
yeah,
And Glenn and his wife take care of all the paperwork for us. Just not to drag this
Cause
out.
that has to be filed with the
Yeah.
DES.
Just to-
all the
And
paperwork.
I'll compare the pricing with the pad we just had down the transfer station with similar rebar.
The only caveat to this is around the outside, there's a
1 inch groove all the way.
well, yeah, there's 4 of them. It's not too complicated,
Is
but,
that the catch?
But it is
because
something.
what?
Yeah, but it-
what?
You keep, it's a flow, if you go to any gas station, you look those grooves in the pavement,
Yeah.
they're to catch a spill so it doesn't go out onto the tire and.
that's all it does.
So-
It hits the concrete, runs to those,
And
and the
evaporates.
theory is it evaporates. It doesn't continue to spread across the
Mhm.
veranda there. Anyway, a number of years ago, we found out we were non-compliant with the permits for the tank, they had expired. It was after I became road agent, we didn't know anything about it, Lean gets a notice, she tells me, and I'm like, what the heck, so I called the state up, and the guy was wonderful. I mean, he came out and a lot of places had fallen through the cracks. So he worked with us to get us up to speed and be permitted, which it wasn't painful, but there were a lot of things that had to be done, and we couldn't do it in-house, so this guy Gold Eagle had installed these tanks back in the 90s. So we reached out to him to do all the servicing and all the maintenance, and all that paperwork, so we are still compliant, so we don't lose that permit status. So we forward information to him, his wife forwards it to the state, and it's
So
all
Alyssa looks
documented.
way out of line, it's worth sticking with, so.
And it's all documented. And that's what you have to do when you have underground tanks nowadays through the state. We're fortunate because we have relatively small system, the 2 1,000-gallon tanks, and the dispensers are right above them. So there's not a series of underground piping that causes problems and stuff, so it's a pretty low maintenance system, but it still has to be maintained. And we had talked previously about maybe doing away with the tanks. You know, because the fire and police use it, the highway department. But we have gas and diesel there, and you can get the fuel through a state agency, but the highway department would have to travel to get one to Concord or Hooksett or Goffstown, and that takes time. and all that, so we've elected to keep it on site.
During the storms and stuff, I think it makes good sense.
Oh, yeah, no, it's worked out well,
Yeah.
but it's a continual thing, we have to do maintenance every year.
Yeah.
They pay him a fee to,
Yeah.
you know.
You have a generator down there?
Yes.
So in other words, in the can, how are you, those pumps
Yeah,
and
so
so
the pumps work and electricity, heat, water, and electric door openers.
Good.
It's not an automatic full house generator, it's a welder generator, we have to fire it up and plug it
Yeah,
in.
manual.
Yeah, which it works fine, it's adequate.
Yep.
As long as it keeps running, it's good. So yes, we're self-sufficient on that.
Thank you.
Can we go out of order on the mailbox? B is related to Jeff's department as well. If we
Building
could
repairs
just-
for the highway garage.
We had, some unexpected.
Yeah,
service
as it
repairs.
turned out, I didn't know what was gonna happen with this whole, you know, the maintenance budget for buildings and all that. We had a pipe that collapsed, or rusted out. So Pete and I were changing it, and then we've also had an issue with the concrete in front of the doors, had all deteriorated and the rebar was popping out of it. So we've ripped that out, we're gonna repave that, and the area where we put this pipe in and a little catch basin to catch the water, cause the way the grading is there, because this whole project evolved since the eighties and little bits and pieces have been done, the water runs into the highway garage. And so we put a catch basin in to catch it, and the pipe we were gonna tie into is rusted out. So it's like, yeah, we could hitch up to it and it would probably last a few years, but I elected just to redo the whole thing, put a whole new pipe out to a different direction and be done with it, plastic pipe. So we're doing that, and I talked to Lean.
What's the distance on that?
220 feet.
Okay.
So we put in 80 to the manhole and 220 feet out there, you know, we got rebate and all that. And I mentioned it to Lean, and, you know, it's not, it is road highway money, but it is building maintenance. And I wasn't sure if there was any money available to offset that or not.
I wouldn't mind using the building maintenance for those two things because it's,
But I mean, you still got
It
some
is-
more
it
bills,
is
you got some,
building maintenance
there's
as
gonna be
well.
some bills on the pipe.
well, why don't we split it then? No, I'm just kidding.
You know, I'm not,
The,
if
let me tell
you
you guys the
have
amounts,
money that
cause,
you, yeah,
it looks like the, excavation time is $2,080, and it looks like
well, that's so far, that was last week.
the crushed stone is $1760 so far.
Yeah, no, that's it for the crushed stone.
That's it for the crushed stone.
The pipe's
so-
$1,200, $2,400, it's $10 a foot, 220 feet, $2,200, and a little manhole, so.
And more excavation time?
Yeah, maybe another couple thousand for that.
Okay.
So, again, I mean, that was kinda, this whole pad thing was up in the air, and I realized, you know, if there's not enough money.
So that's the
there's not enough
drainage repair
money. Yeah,
on both of them, so.
it is town government buildings, but, like I said, whatever, if you've got money to work with in that line, it's fine, but if it's gonna take away from a,
What about
Project
this,
that you
it
have
says
plans.
highway,
Well,
highway and Kimball Pond Road drainage.
yeah, some of that stone was going to that too. So we can absorb some of it, it's not,
So it's about 6K total, if I heard you right?
Yeah, it's only 3,800 here, but he has some future.
But another
ones
couple
coming, yeah.
thousand.
2,200 for the
Put plenty
pipe.
of money there.
We'll be reviewing the current year-to-date expenditures, and we still have $138,781 in the building and maintenance line.
Yeah, and I know what that's running and how I know what that's running, so
And,
we're good.
yeah, I mean, yeah,
I think it falls-
I hadn't really thought of it, I would've brought it to you and mentioned it to you before, but I was talking to Lean and Hope, and when I gave him the bill, he said, you know, this is building maintenance, could come out of that, and I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't really think of that. We were gonna do it regardless.
But it fits, definitely.
It needed
fits-
to be done.
It fits building maintenance
Yeah.
criteria.
I mean, if you wanna portion it in any way, I don't know if there's value in that. You
What?
could,
The
if
stone,
there's a
The
portion
only
of
thing
the
on the
stone or
stone is
something, you could take you
1760.
could take 5,000 to the building and maintenance and
Yeah.
whatever exceeds that
Exactly.
to the
Yeah,
highway.
yeah.
Well, I would
exactly.
rather just look at the stone slip, cause the stone is the only thing that was used on a different job.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So this-
because my time is specific to this
To
job.
this job,
The
and,
pipe's specific to
Okay,
this job.
yeah.
yeah, so I'd like to just, out of the 1760, looks like there was 16 yards, is that right, Jeff?
10 loads, 10 yards of load, should
Yeah.
be 100 yards, is that hundred and ten yards, 11 loads, and it's $16 or $17 a yard or something.
But how many loads you figure you use there? Kimball,
Probably we use 6 at the highway garage. So
That's
about
it?
half of it, yeah.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
so,
So
What happened was,
900 apiece.
yeah, we had a day where Pete had some time, so he hauled the stone and stockpile at the highway garage.
Yep.
We used part of it there and the remainder we measured.
I'll split the bill on the stone, and
That's
then we'll
fine.
cover all the rest,
That's
even
fine.
the new ones that are
For
coming
the
up.
piping that's
Yeah.
coming, okay.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
So I'll make a motion that we cover the bill from Crosby's Construction for $20.80, and half of the stone bill, which is $17.60, under the building maintenance for, maintenance at the highway garage for the drainage repair.
And the additional
Cost for material.
cost for,
Yeah.
no, the additional, excavation.
There'll be
or-
some excavation time and
And
materials. And maybe we'll be able to do some more work on Kelsey Road.
Great.
That's bad, that's bad.
Well, whatever.
Okay,
Anything
Yes.
else?
did you want an official second on that, or?
I haven't made any progress today.
I'll second the motion.
Work in progress.
Okay.
Motion's been made by me, seconded by Dana, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Dana, for reminding me.
Yep.
Yeah, and that, if you got any more questions about the
Pretty
state thing, but I think it would be good if a selectman called them,
Yeah, all right.
you know? I agree with that, I think it's good for us.
I'll call,
I'll
probably
scan you
tomorrow,
both of those documents.
and, if they get back to me, I'll let you guys know. I'll have Lee
If you
send
need
it.
the heavy, just call me in.
Shit.
If I, what I'll do is when I get an answer, I'll have Lee send it out to everybody, so it's
And-
equal, okay?
You know, I don't have to tell you something in writing.
Yeah,
Writing is important.
Yes, very important. All right, if you're all set, I'm gonna take off, get out of
Thank you.
here.
If he sends that to us in writing, says we're all set, then we'll be good to go, and
Yeah, then we can just file it and everything else.
if he says, well, I won't put it in writing, but if you don't do anything, then at recess, give Bob time to break down.
Yeah.
Take your time, Bob, got 2 full minutes.
This little camera tonight is shutting itself off every once in a while.
oh, good, didn't get my jokes then.
I need something, I'm getting dry here.
Did you hear my last one?
I've been trying to keep it moving on, cause I know we've got a couple of.
Same.
I'll try to move forward.
Oh, yes, I did hear that.
Nobody else did.
Pun in that.
So,
Okay.
so I move 16,
I thought about it.
16 months, and 15, I don't have to worry about.
Fair enough, but
Yeah.
I'm not
I wanna
ready
make
to
sure
find
we
right
get
now.
a list.
Look at that list. Get out of jail free card, he uses monopoly
Oh.
card.